most people don't know where 10 is. Right. On a scale of 1 to 10, they don't know where 10 is. I love showing people where 10 is.
Yeah.
Like this is what you're capable of.
Yeah.
This is where you can go.
Let's turn the volume up on this a little bit. Hello, people. I hope you're enjoying all these shows. I've been having a great time putting them out. Today on the show, we got Mike Bledsoe. And Mike Bledsoe is the founder, or one of the founders and CEO of Barbell Shrugged and Barbell Business. And one of the most popular fitness and lifestyle podcasts on the web. And Mike is also an explorer and a seeker and a pretty fantastic guy. And we just go over a little bit about his background, what he's been up to the last couple of years. He stopped podcasting for a little while, and I ran into him. He's a keynote speaker here. And you know what he's really doing now is dipping into how to take care of his business and how to take care of your business also, and how everybody can do better. And he really is into that conversation of wholeness, unity, and prosperity. And such a pleasure to talk to him. I hope you loved it. It's brought to you by Caveman Coffee, cavemancoffee.com. And you can find all things on Pirate Life Radio on the Instagram we have just put up for upcoming shows and past shows. Please find us on iTunes and like us and rate us if you're liking the show Pirate Life Radio. I just found out that was a thing. I never even knew you could rate Pirate Life Radio. Apparently it's important. iTunes, Stitcher. I'd also like to thank Concrete Cowboy, one of my best sponsors. Dallas, Austin, Houston, Texas. If you're in any of those things and you want to get your Savage on and go and carouse a little bit with all the beautiful boys and girls that come out into the nightlife, Concrete Cowboy on 6th Street in Austin, on Washington in Houston, and on Cedar Springs in Dallas. And also, if you get the munchies, you get a little hungry, go ahead and check us out over at Clutch, right next door in Houston to Concrete Cowboy. Clutch is a great little bar and restaurant, and it's a lot of fucking fun. We're opening one in Houston shortly, and we'll be keeping you abreast of that situation. Also want to thank Natural Stacks for helping us and supporting us and being such great friends all weekend. I want to thank Powerballs. That you can find Paleo Angel on Instagram. And Powerballs is a wonderful, wonderful company. They make the most delicious protein macaroons you ever had. Low sugar, all healthy goodness. Great Lakes collagen. It's a fantastic product, so check that out. 10th Planet Santa Fe and UndisputedFitness.com. You can find all things with 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu and Strongman, CrossFit, everything going on in Santa Fe, New Mexico at UndisputedFitness.com. Check us out there. And also, of course, onit.com. My brother Aubrey, Joe, appreciate their commitment, their love all through this whole journey of mine. So, hope you enjoyed that, and we'll talk soon.
A big Tait Fletcher.
Powerful Tait Fletcher
is a real alpha male.
Weightlifter.
He's a stuntman.
Movie star. Robust, enthusiastic individual.
He's huge, by the way. He's like a monster person.
One of the sweetest guys I know.
He's bigger than life.
Actor.
Entrepreneur.
A fighter.
The jiu-jitsu technician.
He's also bald and he has all these tattoos. He's just a big fucking man.
A man, a myth, a legend.
Tait Fletcher.
Tait Fletcher.
Tait Fletcher.
What's up, Tait Fletcher, you bad motherfucker?
Tait Fletcher. Tait Fletcher is
Tait Fletcher.
Teddy bear motherfucking Fletcher, ladies and gentlemen.
That's Tait Fletcher, everybody.
The great Tait Fletcher. Tait the animal Fletcher. Tait the savage Fletcher. Always moving. There's no stillness with Tait Fletcher. You will find no dust.
Tait Fletcher's in the house, ladies and gentlemen. He just said the word erection.
Tait Fletcher.
Tait Fletcher's in the fucking house. Tait Fletcher!
Tait really blasts out some serious hardcore truth bombs, and I think you're really going to enjoy it.
It's Tait Fletcher on Pirate Life Radio. Another episode of Paleo Effects, and sitting here with my friend Mike Bledsoe. He just walked up. Hadn't seen him in a long time. He'd always threatened to have me on Barbell Shrugged, but you know, that never happened. He didn't really want to talk to me. But anyways, man, we just started rapping, and then I always like taking these opportunities. So catch us up on the last 3 minutes of what you're saying. You've been up to Mike doesn't have a CrossFit, and then that's the best thing, really.
So what?
Like that you're like, I never really CrossFit, but then I'm in classes all over the place.
Yeah, so like I started a CrossFit box, CrossFit Memphis in 2007, and I was originally like a Olympic style weightlifter, and then my buddy introduced me to CrossFit, and I was like, this is dumb. This is I don't. It doesn't make any sense. It's random.
Why would I do 15 snatches?
Yeah, this doesn't make any sense. And then 6 months later, I decided just to try a workout, and I go, oh, this is fun. People will do this. Like, this is going to get people moving.
This might catch on.
Yeah, I'm like, this is going to get people moving, and you know, the longer you're in the fitness thing, or the longer I'm in the fitness thing, the less I am attached to what people are doing specifically. I'm more attached to like that they're doing anything. You know, get off the couch, get moving.
I love that they're in. I don't know. I tell the story like I was deadlifting by a girl, and I'm all done, and she's lifting something, and it's a PR for her.
Yeah.
And it's 155 pounds or something like that, and it's struggling, and she starts to do the wave with her hips, and you know, I'm like, it's hard. She's in it. She's in the struggle. She's in the fight right now. And boom, and she comes up, and everybody's just clapping. It's, you know, one of those great exultant moments.
Yeah.
And then she does the thing that we all do, and she diminishes herself, and she's like, well, that's nothing. I mean, she's like, you do, you know, reps of cleans with that or whatever it is, she says. And I go, it's not the weight, it's the struggle. And that's the thing that attracts me to all those things, to jiu-jitsu and to CrossFit and all these kind of group communal activities. Is like, it's an honor to be a part of somebody else's struggle. And when you see somebody else really try, man, that fires you up, and that's where life is right there, you know?
Yeah, I think most people don't know where 10 is. Right. On a scale of 1 to 10, they don't know where 10 is. I love showing people where 10 is.
Yeah.
Like this is what you're capable of.
Yeah.
This is where you can go.
Let's turn the volume up on this a little bit.
So I love taking people to 10 that have never been to 10. And then after you've been there, man, you walk into a room and the confidence is bigger and better. And like, it changes your whole life.
And people recalibrate what that scale is. They're like, oh, now I've got 15. So now actually 1 through 5 don't exist anymore. Now I have a new set of 10 that I didn't ever think I could reach before.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, my 10 5 years ago to my 10 now, vastly
different conversation.
Yeah, and just I'm a better human being for having that.
Everything in life, it goes back to, I love that phrase, you know, no man walks in the same river twice, because it's a different man and it's a different river.
Yeah.
And life moves like that, and it moves through us like that. We're changed. Hopefully we're changed every day, every moment, every passing conversation. And then the stream of life is different every day, every moment, it's a cool thing, man.
Yeah, and I'm getting back, this is kind of what we were talking about, is I'm kind of getting back to the basics. Like, I opened a CrossFit box.
So what happened too? Also, to clear it up.
Yeah.
Barbell Shrugged. You guys didn't do one for a long time. You guys, is that right? Like, was it like a year or 9 months or something like that?
I think there was, I want to say between November and April.
Okay.
Of this past year.
And then people just clamored and were like, come on, guys.
Yeah, you know, and we took a break, and we'd been doing it for 4 years.
Yeah, and steady and consistently.
Yeah, we were burnt out. Like, and not burnt out in like a bad way. It's just like, you know what? We've been talking about the same stuff for a long time. Like, we need to really take a break and get some space. And I think sometimes when people are wanting to make a change, if you try to make a change without getting some space, you won't make the optimal change, the best change possible. And so we made some changes. We brought some new guys in, and they're not just fresh off the street. You know, they've been on my team for years, and these are guys that I've trained with for years. They've, you know, and so they're not like unfamiliar faces to me. So I know that they're gonna mature.
You know their standard and all that.
Yeah, they're gonna bring the A game. And I know a lot of people, they're like, I get a lot of messages like, hey, it's not the same without you, and all this and that, and all.
Because you're not directly involved with any of it anymore, the recordings of it or filming or anything like that.
Right. Yeah. So, you know, I might hop in the show every once in a while, but like that's kind of that phase is past for me right now. And so I actually, the only reason we brought those guys in is I think they can do a better job than me. Perfect. And I think the first 20, 30 shows are going to be rough.
Right.
You know, if you look at my first show compared to their first show, they did better.
Of course, that's evolution, right? It's just how it works.
Exactly. So I want And by the time they get to their 100th, 200th episode like I've done, they're going to be crushing it. They're going to be doing a much better job than me.
Well, and already all the production values there. You guys already have all that stuff lined up. So that's already nice.
And these guys are brilliant. They're smart guys. They've been training. They're highly qualified athletes and coaches, and they've got a good message. And I really enjoy the flavor that they're bringing to the show.
Yeah. And cool. I had a great conversation. We had a wonderful talk.
I heard
yesterday.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
I'm looking forward to watching that show when it posts.
It was a good time.
Yeah, but I've been...
So anyway, then you've segued. You've taken that space and kind of go, okay, reassess where you want to take yourself as an athlete, as a man in this journey.
Yeah.
And you'd been doing seminars for a bit.
Yeah.
And whatever you can do full day, like you're doing this full time and then you're doing that full time. So instead of doing it partially, you kind of delved into that and jumped into the
Yeah, my attention was split between Barbell Shrugged, which is really focused on athletes and coaches, and I have Barbell Business, which is focused on the gym owner.
Right.
And like really trying to help them out. And my attention was split, so I wasn't doing as well as I could on either. So what we did with Barbell Shrugged is we really got the right people in place so that Barbell Shrugged can move on and evolve, and then I can move into Barbell Business fully and really help the gym owner. Because I really feel like, and I've had these comments made, is when we do things with Barbell Shrugged, we sell training programs online. And a lot of gym owners don't even like that, because a guy walks in and goes, I don't want to do your program, I want to do the Barbell Shrugged program.
Right.
And that's, as a gym owner, it depends. Some gyms operate one way or the other. My facility is like, we have a space for people who want to do their own thing.
I think it comes down spatially in that regard. Yeah. Like at my gym, at Undisputed Fitness in Santa Fe, we're small. And so, and off hours we try not to have, because we need to optimize. We need to get our rent, because even as CrossFit looks expensive if you're coming from a regular gym,
right?
But you're doing basically private training for small groups, and it's tough to make the nut even every month on that. And so
the type of training you're getting is phenomenal.
Right.
Like what you're paying, people paying $150, $200 a month.
So there's only a couple loose hours where if somebody wanted to do their own programming, that would even be available.
Yeah.
I think most spots are like that. Most spots probably work on a tight margin like I do.
Yeah. So, I'm looking at the landscape, and I asked myself a question all last year. I'm talking like this was my intention, was like, how can I make the biggest impact possible? Like, it's not so much like, what is it that I want to do? Like, I'm doing what I want to do. My purpose in life is to like make a big impact, wake people up, get people in their bodies, get people moving, and how I do that doesn't matter. What does matter is I make the biggest impact possible. And I recognize that these box owners, these guys who are opening up CrossFit gyms, they want to do the same thing, and they don't have the tools to do it as well as they could. They got into it to coach, and they got in it because they love the training.
Mostly good athletes, not necessarily maybe ever even having run a business before.
Exactly. So, but guess what I figured out? Like, I started studying business years ago, and I figured a lot of stuff out. And I have a team of guys and girls that have figured it out too. And that's actually what I'm good at, is building the team. So I can't claim that I'm a genius when it comes to all aspects of business, but I have geniuses on my team that do. And so what we've done is we built software, we built sales and marketing automation tools for CrossFit gyms. We do workshops where we get them to think about their business in a different way. And once we are able to help ship that gym owner, either with tools, and I don't like consulting is good, but most people, you consult them and 90% of the people won't implement. And so they pay for it and don't get the benefit.
Training.
Yeah, and so like for me, I like to give them the tools and do as much for them as I can. That still doesn't take care of like the mindset shift they need. They need to be thinking about themselves as a business owner if they're going to have that success, if they're going to serve as many athletes as possible. So my goal is to make the gym owner help their business run so smoothly that they can then coach really well. They can pay their coaches really well. I think there's more coaches out there right now that they're not. It's part-time. They got an accounting gig by day and they come in and coach at night. Are they the best coach they can be? No, their attention is split. I want to set gyms up as a real business so that they can have coaches that are full-time. So their only job is to learn how to make people better all the time. And when you have full-time coaches, making a good living, guess what? They're going to do a great job, and your clients are going to get better results.
Sure. It's hard even a lot of people that start jiu-jitsu gyms and CrossFit gyms, things like this. It's hard to impart on them the importance that your attention is there all the time. For myself, I didn't intend to become a business owner or anything like that. It was just kind of like, there was things that I wanted to do that weren't in the market or whatever, and I'm like, well, let's do this, and then let's do that, and then, oh, my friend's doing this, and let's do this, and then all of a sudden I'm busy. But I don't go to sleep or wake up without thinking of those things.
Right.
I'm paying attention to those details as much as I can all the time. I've got teams in place that are helping me to remember to pay attention to what details at what time. I'm in the conversation all day long. There's not a respite. And a lot of people think, oh, well, I'll just do this a couple hours a day and things are going to be good, right?
Paid for 6 months.
And then you find out that you're like, oh, the bills are barely being paid.
Yeah.
I can't get my nut back. I thought for sure I'd be paid back by this amount. And it's just a different kind of thing. And so really, I think, I've been talking a lot about commitment and discipline. And if you don't have those things in your toolbox, if it will, you're not going to do very well. And especially if you're going to go in business, and I'm in business down the road from you, I'm going to smash you because I'm paying attention to those things. And so that's the other thing about coaches. Coaches get kind of good and they go, I think I'll start my own thing. And I'm like, I need you to consider that you don't even understand what it takes, really, even, and so those have got to be a big part of the beginning steps for you as a consultant in that way.
Yeah. I mean, I talk to gym owners and I usually don't interact with people who are not interested in business at all, if they're in that spot. And, but when I do come across them, I'll be hanging out at the CrossFit games or here at Paleo FX, I'll be hanging out and I'll run a box owner and they're like, I don't want to do any of that stuff. Like, I'm like, right. You should not be a box owner. You should be working for find somebody who's really good at business. You could still own a piece of the business, maybe 20% if you're the head coach.
I think really the sweet spot, if you want to be in the fitness world like that.
Yeah.
It's to be the lieutenant. It's to be the guy that's standing next. It's not to be the guy that signs the checks. No. It's to be the guy standing next to that guy. It's to be a high-level support team. And in that way, you're free in a way of a lot of the stresses that the other guy has to carry, man. And that's a weight that some people crush under. It's not for everybody.
Yeah, if you want to be the best coach in the world, you need to team up with the best businessman or businesswoman in the world.
It's true. Yeah. It's true. And pay attention. And you got to have, for whatever, you've got to be ready for rocky roads ahead, and you got to be ready to stay the course.
Ooh, that looks delicious. Keith.
I think this looks like it's carbohydrate rich.
Is that a donut?
Keith just put a donut in front of me, and
is that a paleo donut?
And I'm like, I don't think that I can eat that. 18 grams of what? Yeah.
18 grams of what?
At least. Yeah, right. I know. We're sitting right across from Jumbo. They got weed all in their shit.
Hell yeah.
18 grams of what exactly?
Exactly.
There's a lot of different animals here.
I'm about to get on stage. 18 grams, and I'm going to be like,
You're going to speak right now?
No, I'm actually, in a few hours, I'm doing a panel on, it's called The System is a Lie.
Uh-huh. And what's that on?
The topic is about abundance, scarcity, and investing in yourself.
Killer, man.
So I love being on that panel because then I can just tell people exactly what I think.
Sure.
Yeah.
Who's on the panel with you?
I don't know. Ashley my wife's sitting right here. She could tell us. She's got the app.
And then where do people find these online? All these talks at Paleo FX?
I don't know. I think you just go to paleofx.com.
Just Google that. It'll be a YouTube page probably.
Yeah, they've always live streamed, but they're going to make it where you can download it later. Yeah, so on the panel with me, I have Melissa Hartwig, Abel James, Mark Dama, Emily Schramm, and Michelle Norris of Paleo FX is going to be moderating that panel.
Great.
So
I've been at the booth this whole time, and so I haven't seen any of them at all. And I'm like, I got to check these out later.
This is my third year in a row at Paleo FX, and I hardly ever get to see any of the talks.
Yeah.
Because the hustle, man.
Yeah.
The hustle, it's fun.
Exactly.
And I usually spend about a quarter of my time in your booth. I love the get caffeinated.
It's like old home week. You get to see everybody, and then this, like our booth, like people are like, oh well, it's like having a podcast in a way. And like Drew is my lawyer. He's right over here, and he's like, well, I've never done a podcast. And so I said, let's do one. So we did one the other day.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, if somebody else asked, he's like, I don't even know if I want to talk about lawyer stuff, because how boring is lawyer stuff? I go, it depends on the story you're telling. It can be pretty goddamn exciting. But I go, the point of podcast isn't necessarily like, it's all about agenda. And if you go in with too fierce of an agenda to whatever it is, the shit looks funky. It doesn't feel right. And I said, you let all that shit go. I said, some of the best podcasts I listen to is like here's a high-level biochemist, and all they talked about is cartoons that he liked, and that he likes to build kites in his spare time or something, and like that's, I mean, it's just like that trying to contrive life. Like, I couldn't have done that in my life. I can't do it in business. I can't do it in conversation and have fun. Just have fun, and that's what we kind of set our booth up to be, and the company's up to be, is like, well, if we're not having fun, let's totally not do this, because there's not at all that's worth not doing this.
I will not do anything that's not fun.
People are like, oh, do you like that? You like acting and stuff? And I'm like, I do zero that I don't like.
Right.
I suffer. Now, that's not to say that I don't suffer a lot. I try to push away comfort where I can.
Right. Yeah,
but
it's different from being uncomfortable.
It certainly is,
We
man.
should be seeking discomfort.
Super happy.
Pushing boundaries. I mean, that's where all the growth happens.
Yep.
What are you most excited about right now? Like, what's your most exciting project, the thing that you're just fired up to do?
Well, I just did an audition for a Steven Soderbergh TV show, and like that.
Have you ever done a TV show? I know you do movies, but
yeah, we did a bunch of TV shows this last couple months, and I'm just on. There's a bunch that I signed NDAs for, non-disclosure stuff. But Keith and I we've done a bunch of things together, and so if I got this part, we'd be in another show together, which would be awesome, and like really, really fun. But Westworld was one. It's going to be out on HBO, and that's one of the that's going to be a dope TV show.
Are you going to be a bad guy again?
I'm more a misunderstood type in this one. Funny, man. It shifts. Yeah,
love it.
It's been fun, man. And then the other thing I'm excited about is just being here. You know, like I like this. I like sitting and talking. People are like, "Oh, you gonna do podcast day?" And I go, "I don't know. We'll see what happens." You know, and I'm like, you know, the whole thing is just. I think life for me as a man, more and more becoming is like you pay attention to details and you become aware. And awareness isn't a thing that, boom, now I've got awareness. But it happens slowly, and it eases up on you. And the trick is that when you think you're aware, it's troublesome in a way, because you're not fully aware maybe ever. Like, you've got to always consider, like, well, I was wrong about this thing last month that I thought I was 100% right around, so I got to consider that I'm maybe wrong also about everything that I know right now. And so it's that thing of staying open to the question, I think, and staying open to whatever's going to occur. So, like, when people are like, oh, you got podcasts lined up and everything, I'm like, I don't really schedule lunch. Like, I don't know what's going to happen when, and that's the only way I can really live with peace in myself. Now, it drives people around me crazy. Not everybody likes that, right? But like,
that is correct.
But for me, it's like, you know, I'm way better if you're like, hey, you want to get lunch later today? I'm like, yeah, fuck, cool, let's do that. I got 2 hours right now. But if you're like, hey, next Wednesday, I'm like, hey, easy, next Wednesday.
Dude, that's
what are we talking
way too
about?
Far out.
I don't know what state I'll be in, and that's the truth of it too. Is I don't know what state I'll be in.
Yeah, going speaking of awareness and like being able to navigate the waters, there's this way I approach life, and I'm a truth seeker. So if you're into philosophy at all, you would Plato way back in the day. You have the good, the true, and the beautiful, right? So I find that every person gravitates to one of those three mostly, right? So for me, I will forsake goodness and beauty to find the truth. My wife here, Ashley, she'll forsake everything for goodness. Like, right. She doesn't care if she has those three choices, she will give up the other two for goodness.
Right.
And so for me, the way I live my life,
I clearly go towards beauty.
I think you do too. You're a beautiful man. But so my approach to life is I'm a truth seeker, and my opinion about the truth is when I tell people I know exactly what the truth is, and I go, oh shit, what's that? And I say, truth is all perspectives at once, which means that I make up like 1/9 billionth of the truth. And so I have to accept that what I perceive as the truth is more than likely just a fraction of what's really going on. And then in certain situations, there might be 5 people involved. So now I'm only like 20% of the truth. So for me, if I'm approaching life from that perspective, it's really easy to set aside my perspective and listen to other people. Because since I'm a truth seeker, and if you want to be a truth seeker, you have to ask good questions and you actually have to listen. So many people ask questions and then they don't listen. They're just like thinking about the next thing they're going to say.
It's a lot of that's like having that agenda.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like it used to drive me crazy when I would talk to reporters or interviews or something, because and after like the second one I'd ever done, I was like, they're just filling space. They don't know what they want to know either. And Rogan he's like, dude, just be interesting and do what you want, whatever it is you want to say, go do that and push that thing. Like, even if they're like, what's your favorite color? You know, I had sushi the other day and fucking it is goddamn delicious. I never thought I would like that. You can answer a reporter just like that and they'll eat it up. They don't know, they just want content to fill their thing. So, and I had to be, I think too, that being true to yourself in as much as like, you know, being asked questions as far as in that kind of thing. There's times when I go, I don't think I can answer that, and not that I am not aware of the answer, but because it might hurt me to be public. And so there's parts of myself, like not really of myself so much, but like, you know, I was asked about stuff about. I saw a thing. There was Harvey Keitel was getting interviewed for Playboy, and they started talking about his childhood, and they started asking him about his father. He goes, I'm not going to answer that. It was the first time I'd ever heard somebody I'm like, the reporter's powerful. It's like, you're not answering the report. Like, I'm like, they're not shit. They're just another guy out there trying to make a living. And he goes, I'm afraid that it might hurt me. I'm afraid it might hurt me or my father to go into this. And so I think that I'm not going to answer that. And I thought, that's a powerful stand to take, you know, and that making a stand for something, that goes back to just having a standard, knowing yourself enough to go, these are my standards, these are my values that I won't betray. Yeah. And it's an interesting conversation, I think. Yeah.
You know, I think we all have a view of the world that we'd like to see. You know, everyone sees the world and goes, you know, I wish it was a little bit different. So what I like when I speak, I would say originally, when I used to open my mouth, I spoke in order to feel heard and understood. Like, that's what I seek. And then once I did some digging and removed some layers and did a lot of work on myself, I found a group of friends who were really interested in seeing me. And now that that's been satisfied, when I speak, when I come on shows, and if I'm being interviewed or something like that, my whole goal of every word that comes out of my mouth is to help others. Like, say the thing that they need to hear. Yeah. So like, and if I'm operating from there, nothing I say can hurt myself.
It's like finding yourself in a reflection of the helpfulness, you know? Yeah. Like, everybody wants to talk about their purpose, about what's your purpose in life, and I get guys that ask me things like that a lot, and like, what should I do, or I want to exact this kind of change, and I said, if it's not clear to you, then you got to pause, because a lot of times, I mean, if it's not clear to you which direction shore is, to just flail around in the water, you're going to drown. You'll get tired, and the fight won't seem worth it. Yeah. But if you're not sure of the purpose or the goal, I believe the clear purposes that I wish somebody would have told me is make yourself whole. Create dominion over yourself bodily, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. And if you can do that, then when the purpose becomes clear, you're going to be a whole human that has all your faculties vibrating at the highest degree with which to execute the goal. Yeah. And thank God that you don't know your goal right now if you're not there, because otherwise you'd be some mediocre expression of that. It would destroy you too. Right? Potentially. Could be, yeah.
And, you know, when people start looking for their purpose, usually they're like, what should I be doing? How should it be done? I'm like, the purpose has nothing to do with how you're going to execute. Yeah. Your purpose and your mission are two totally different things.
In the meantime, be helpful. And what that looks like is doing the goddamn dishes, taking out the garbage, fucking helping a friend fix a hole in the fence, whatever. Just be helpful wherever you can. Yeah. Open the car door for them, you know?
If I'm ever confused about what I should be doing right now, I start asking questions. What do you need? Yeah. What do you want? Like, and I'm just like, well, I'll just do that.
Where did you get that from?
I don't know. It's been a long journey. I wouldn't say there's any one thing. I think that I'm surrounded by really high level people. I've made a point of surrounding myself with people who have been through. They've done a lot of personal development themselves, and I think that like I made the switch at one point when I was doing Barbell Shrugged. I made the switch from like wanting to be heard to saying only what would help other people, and I started realizing what being of service really meant, and I go, oh, if I'm always just trying to help the next person take the next step, and that's coaching, right? That's coaching. That's being a guru. I mean, that's what all these things are. I mean, I study, a fair amount of spiritual text, and I come to find out that coaching and being a guru out of India and things like this are the same fucking thing. Like, my job is when I approach somebody, if I go and I just go, blah, and I just tell them everything I know, that's not going to help them at all. Like, yeah, I could make myself feel important by like sounding smart, or what I could do is ask them a lot of questions, find out exactly, and I have an idea of where I want to take them as, it might be a personal thing, or it might be as an athlete, or it might be as a gym owner. And I ask them a series of questions, and what I'm looking for is, what is the next step for them? Not where do they need to be in 2 years, 3 years. Like, what is the very next thing that they need to hear in order to change their perspective and make a change in their life in a more positive direction? I don't know if I learned that in any one spot. I think it was just constantly being exposed to people who were doing the same thing.
And like that's another spot where like the macrocosm and microcosm mimic each other, because it's like you're talking about removing obstacles from an athlete or from somebody you're coaching, right? And those obstacles, and whether that's in their life or in whatever, maybe they're in toxic relations or whatever the thing is, or maybe you're doing a deadlift and it's removing the obstacles. Like, no, we're going to need to pull your knees back, right? Just in those moments. Right. And so in that microcosm of coaching through this specific moment, you're making these fixes so they can have success. Just as in the big picture, there's these other things that you need to take obstacles away from and make them aware of the obstacle. This is see how that's an obstacle? How your knee's in the way right there? See how that's an obstacle? How you're hanging around with this shithead and he's always arrested all the time?
Yep.
I mean, and you can kind of start to guide things. The one most beautiful thing I've heard all weekend that stuck with me so far, this cat from Natural Stacks, Ryan, he says, do you know where the word coach came from? I go, I don't. I never heard that. And he goes, because I said, what are the things that you like to know as a coach? And he says, well, because I said, some people I won't even bother with coaching because I'm at a developed state of where I am, and I've got guys that can help you if you're just trying to not eat McDonald's anymore, but I'm not really, like, I'm going to be speaking in a way that you're not going to be able to access what it is I'm telling you to do anyway. You need to start at a different place, and it's hard for me to shift gears like that. I'm not interested in that because I'm still needing to get coached at a lot of other levels in my life, which are at a different level than that. And he goes, what I do as a coach, he says it comes from stage coach, and you pick people up where they're at.
Oh shit, I like that.
They're where they're at, Tait. You pick them up where they're at, and then you take them to where they're going. Those are the two questions I need to know. I pick them up where they're at. Where are you at right now? Tell me about you. And then where do you want to go? What do you want to access in your life? Holy fucking genius.
Spot on. That's all you got to do. And most people who are coaching haven't had that realization yet. And once you have that, man, your ability to be coaching just opens up at that point.
And I believe it's a calling, coaching. Coaching's not a job. Coaching's something that you're driven towards.
I can't help myself.
Man, I need to help. I want to be helpful. And that, I guess where I got that from was being miserable, from being so self-centered and such an arrogant prick that I'm so self-absorbed that I want to eat a pistol every goddamn day. And when I get in that state, and a dude told me, you know who's miserable, Tait? You know who's not the most miserable man in the world? As a fellow with no purpose. I don't have any fucking purpose here, and it's just self-derived fucking pleasures and the basest levels. And I was like, I got to change my life. And then he goes, you know what you got to do to change your life, Tait? You know what the cost is? And I go, no. He goes, your old life, all of it.
You got to die?
And it's a big deal, man.
You got to die and be born again.
It's a big conversation. I mean, simple but not easy, right? Simple but not easy.
Letting go of the old. is it's hard to even know what that means.
And for us, I mean, like Keith talks about a lot, we hashtag seek death a lot. For us, it's got to be that. I'm ready to die in this experience right now. If I die, it's completely okay.
Yeah.
And I come to grips with that a long time ago. Like, I'm ready to die for this thing. And I don't care if it's a takedown. I don't care if it's a plane ride. I don't care if it's in a conversation where I have to bare myself and be completely honest with you. It doesn't matter to me in what construct that is. I need to be fully available for the experience. And when you make yourself fully available, life might snatch you away. And if you're not ready for that, bummer, man, but that's what it takes to succeed. And when I saw that, I go, I need to be completely clear and 100% committed to this thing. Man, that's where freedom lived for me. That's where I uncovered freedom.
Yeah.
It's a lovely experience.
Those who fear death. If you fear death, that means that you're not living fully.
Well, and it also means that you're easy to control.
Oh,
I've always got a hook in you, you know?
Yeah.
Like if I have a malevolent bone in my body and I see what you're scared of, ooh, it's easy to guide you who I want. And that was the thing. I was like, I don't want to be buffeted around by either somebody else's desires or my own. I want to be in dominion over my own desires. I want to be in dominion over my thinking, my body. I don't want to, because for a long time I just ate. Like if I start eating potato chips in the morning, guess what I'm eating at night? Some more potato chips or whatever. You know, it's like the thing begets more the thing. And I thought I was out of control. I thought, I remember eating a candy bar one time and I go, how is it that I don't have the ability to not eat this? Like, it's my hand that's putting it in my mouth, but I feel like I'm unable to not do that.
Right.
And I go, you know, you can train your body in different ways, and you can train your mind. And once, like, the world treats me exactly how I treat it. My food too. If I don't know what a macronutrient is, I'm going to be buffeted around by that conversation for forever, and it's going to seem like a hopeless puzzle. And there's people with understanding, you know, and so that's the thing too. I ask a lot of questions, man.
Yeah.
I ask a lot of questions because there's a lot of guys like you that got answers, you know.
Yeah. And you know, I'm always checking in with how I feel.
Yeah.
You know I screwed up an hour ago. If I ate something, like, how does it make me feel?
Right.
Like, if it makes me
weird.
feel
I never
terrible,
put those
like,
together.
let's stop doing that shit.
I never ever thought that food had a bearing on my mood.
Oh yeah.
And how crazy is that?
Yeah.
And then I don't know who said it. If it was
people
like
are
a mark.
like, oh, you want a cocktail at 2:00 in the afternoon? I'm like,
right.
No, I got a whole day to go. But that's gonna make me tired.
We went to Picnic today.
I love that place.
Okay, so it's this great little paleo shop kind of deal. Their bone broth. They got this butter whatever.
So good.
It's awesome. And I go there and it's like 7 in the morning or whatever. It's early, and I'm like, God damn, these Austin people are fit as fuck. Because there's 50 people in the yard outside. They're doing burpees and fucking somersaults and shit. And I was like,
they're active.
A little bit too much, guys. Let's tone it down. Haven't even had coffee.
Dial it back.
And so we get all our stuff and we load up the truck and we got everybody's food. Lacey and I went and just got everybody's stuff. And there's a bum sitting on the sidewalk next to the truck and he's got his knapsack. He's got a bongo drum and he's got a Mickey's.
Nice.
And he's nursing on. He's like a third of the way through it. And I go, hey man, how you doing, dude? And he's like, oh, good, brother. And he's a Jamaican dude. And I go, right on, cool. And I go, there's some active motherfuckers here in Austin, huh? It's a little much. He goes, oh yeah, all the girls over there doing the thing or whatever. He goes, it's too much though. They look too much like men or whatever. He says, I don't like that or whatever. And I'm like, I just like it if they'll talk to me. Like, personally, I mean, I look how I look, bro. Like, any attention's good attention. And he starts laughing. He goes, ah. But I'm like, that's how strong our ego is, too. Is like, I remember, like, I used to drink a lot. And I could be in the gutter looking down on you. You know what I mean? I could be in the worst position possible thinking, you're so fucked up. You don't have it together at all. Wearing those shoes and that shirt together? Come on.
It's ridiculous.
It's a trip, man. It's a trip.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a beautiful life, man. That exposure to being aware of all that stuff.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, where can people find you, man?
Right now, I mean, I'm on social media. Just give me a
Mike Bledsoe.
Mike Bledsoe.
MikeBledsoe.
That's right.
And Barbell Shrugged or Barbell Business. Do you have a solitary Instagram for those?
Yeah, I mean, Barbell Business and Barbell Shrugged both have Instagrams and Snapchats and all that stuff. And I'm the CEO of the
Of said
overarching
corporation?
Yeah, the overarching company. And it's if you're a box owner or you're in any kind of fitness business, I mean, the Barbell Business Podcast, all we talk about is how to improve your business. So check it out.
Sick, man.
Awesome.
Yeah, man. If you're thinking you want to get into it, or if you're already in it and you're struggling, the hard part is there's always that thing where you're like, maybe I'll just dip out of this thing. And I just encourage you, man, get advice from some experts. Send Mike an email, hit him up, slide into his DMs, whatever it takes, man. But like, get somebody else, because there's oftentimes in this business, I think there's quick fixes that you can plug up holes really quickly and go, oh my God, I was missing the point. So,
coaches need coaches too.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, thank you, and thanks for joining us. And I know you probably want to rest or get caffeinated for your talk, but
thanks,
it's
Tait.
great, man. It's great bumping into you. Much love.
Appreciate
dude.
it.
All right.